Hello, my name is Andy and I am the village idiot man with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. Now, the time today for this one is around 7 o'clock in the evening, and that's the perfect time to be filming because the temperature here has been astronomical today. It's top 30 degrees at times, and so walking around in the cool of the evening is a lot better than being in the hot sunshine, nice as it is. Okay, so today this is a bit of a special video because I'm in a place I've never been before, and this particular place is in Cheshire. This is 2.5 miles away from Liverpool, John Lennon Airport, and the reason I'm here is because in the morning I have a flight to catch to Belfast, so I figured why not take the camera around this little village and cross it off the list. So where are we? We're in the borough of Halton, and this is one of 6 parishes in this district. This is the village and the parish of Hale. So what can I tell you about Hale then? Not a lot actually, although I do know one thing about it. It's famed for the child of Hale, who is John Middleton. He was a giant, and quite a few things around the village bear the name Child of Hale or Middleton or something along those lines. Now there's an information board just here, and we'll see if this has got anything on it about John Middleton. Otherwise, we'll have to go and find all these things ourselves. Now, one of these old cottages, these old thatched cottages, I believe is John Middleton's cottage. And I think, if my memory serves me correctly, it's that way, beyond the War Memorial, which you can see in shot now, down that road to the right. We're going to head down there in a little while, but first I'm going to go directly across the road here and into Hale Park. Right, this information board, I was going to take a picture of it, but as you can see, it's quite dirty and I don't think you'd be able to read it. So I'm just going to read the first paragraph to you to explain what Beech Lane is all about. So it says, "You are standing near what was formerly Beech Lane in 1823. This lane, along with Poplar Lane and Watchmaker's Lane, were closed to the public in order to extend Hale Park. Beech Lane became the carriage drive to Hale Hall, the seat of the Ireland and Blackburn families for over 300 years. So there you go. Alright, so I'm standing outside the little enclosed area where the War Memorial is still. Now a little bit later on we'll be heading that way because we can walk around this village in a circle, and that's going to be the last part of the main walk around. But before we get to that, we need to head this way towards the Childe of Hale pub, which is just in shot there to the left now. And if we keep going down there, we will see not only John Middleton's cottage, which we mentioned earlier, but also the site of his burial, which is in the church. Let's go and explore those. according to my research, the guy was 9'3" tall, and this statue is a life-size representation of the man himself. Now, as you can see, I'm about 6 foot tall-ish, something like that. I only come up to his waist here, if this is a representation, a true likeness of how tall he actually was. That's quite amazing. The legend goes that at night he had to sleep with his feet poking out of the window because he was too big for his bed. And I believe at Speke Hall, which is just over the border into Liverpool, there's a cottage in the grounds somewhere in Speke Hall, which has a representation of that. It's a little cottage with some feet you can see dangling out of the window, which I think is quite cool. So there he is. There's John Middleton, the Childe of Hale. Now, just round the corner, there's a church, and that is where he's buried. Let's go and see where his grave is. This is pretty cool. So it appears John Middleton was not the only famous resident in this village. Also, we have Robert Molyneux, or Master Robert Molyneux, as this board tells us. And this guy accompanied Lieutenant James Cook on the first of his 3 voyages of discovery to Australia and New Zealand in 1768 to 71, serving as master of the Royal Navy research ship Endeavour, and he came from this village. There you go. Okay, so the village does continue a little bit further to the north here along that road there, but we're heading back to the car, which means coming down this street, which will take us back to near where we began. Alright, so to finish this one off, there's something amazing that I want to show you that lies right on the banks of the River Mersey. Speaking of the Mersey, there it is. And this land here, this all belongs to Hale Estate, but this is a public footpath which will take us down to the Hale Coastal Path. Alright, so I'm doing my best to film this last shot away from the sun because I don't want to blind either you or myself in doing so. That's just about going to do it for the village of Hale. 2.5 miles away from Liverpool John Lennon Airport, a bustling part of Liverpool. And you come out here 2.5 miles and you just find this aura of tranquility by the side of one of the mightiest rivers we have in this country, in the River Mersey. It's amazing. You wouldn't think just a few miles upstream that way is one of our biggest cities, one of our biggest metropolises up here in the north of England. And Hale is a lovely village, isn't it? It really is. Lots to talk about in Hale. John Middleton and all the things that go with him, his cottage, his statue, his grave. It's been a fantastic little video to make, this one. And yeah, there's only 6 parishes in the borough of Halton. So it won't take me long to do, but of course I don't know when I'm going to be back here next. This is like a special trip because I have to catch a flight in the morning. But yeah, if the rest of Halton is like this, I think I'm going to enjoy it. Most of it, by the way, is over the water over there. There are only 2 of the 6 parishes on the northern bank of the Mersey. The other 4 are on the southern bank over there. And in time, I will be across there to do all 4, as well as the other one that's on this side. But for now, this has been the village and the parish of Hale, and I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.